Okay, I'm going to show you how to get into your MyLabs course for Elementary Algebra 064. The first thing that you want to do is open your web browser, and you want to enter the email address that you see here, which is sfccmo.mylabsplus.com. And I'm using a Mac, so what you see here is going to look a little bit different than what you might see. And my internet is incredibly slow. I'm at home right now, so I apologize. Now, your username is your first initial and your last name, and your password is exactly the same thing. Once you get logged in, you can pick whatever you want to for your password. The other thing I wanted to show you here at this screen, your students will go to the exact same web address, which was, I kind of lost it up there. It was the sfccmo.mylabsplus.com. That's the website that you want. You can post that into Angel. I can show you how to do that here in just a second. When your students go to this website, what they want to do is put in their username, which is always going to be their student ID number. So they need to put their student ID number in here, and then once they do that, they need to click Forgot Your Password, and it will email them a password to their student email address. If they don't get that email, just shoot me an email and say, I have a student and here's their name and here's their student ID number and they're having trouble finding their password, and then I will reset their password. And once you log in, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to prompt you to do a browser check. Here, let me try typing yours in again. Obviously, I'm not having very good luck here. But it should be L. Cooper stock. Okay, here's what you see when you log in, and here's your Basic Skills 064 Elementary Algebra class. Once you get more semesters, you'll see a lot of drop-down menus here, and all you have to do is just expand them, but you'll have, fall 2013 second 8 week, maybe spring 2014 first 8 week, and then you can expand your semesters and open them up. And then you find your classes under the semesters, and it will look the same for the students. Now, if they've logged into MyLabs before, which the only classes in math that we use MyLabs for are elementary algebra, intermediate algebra, and college algebra. So for a lot of them, this is going to be their first time. But this code in the book that they buy for elementary is still good for intermediate and college algebra. They will not need to buy another book. I would encourage them to get it done next semester, though, because we will be moving to a new book in the summer. Once you get in, here's your course. It will, depending on what web browser you're using, you might see something a little bit different in here, because it'll ask you to do a MyMathLab browser check just to run through and make sure that you have everything in your browser set up the way that it needs to be. Obviously, I use this a lot, so my browser was already set up and it's good to go. About all you need to know is once your students log in, they're going to have the same buttons over here as you have up here at the top from about Course Home to Gradebook. And the temp access, if they don't have their book, they're going to want to click on temporary access, and it will give them a temporary access code, and that code will be good for 21 days. So for an 8-week class, that's quite a bit of time for them to purchase another book. It's almost halfway through the course before they have to purchase the book. But at that point, 21 days from today, it will be invalid. So their temp access will not last forever. But they can get in and do their homework to begin with. What you need to know is a couple of things here. For one, if you go down to Instructor Resources, and click on Gradebook. That's, between Gradebook and Assignment Manager, that's probably where you're going to spend most of your time. And again, my internet's really slow at home. So we'll wait for that Gradebook to come up. Okay, so here's your grade book, and it looks like you have 5 students who are already in the course, and they've already logged in. Once more students access the course, they will be put into this grade book. You will not see them here until they access the course in My Labs, however. And then you're going to want to click on homework. That'll show you your homework scores for your students. Unfortunately, this gradebook will not export and import into Angel, so you're going to have to do that by hand. When we get Blackboard this coming summer, everything's going to be automatic and we won't have to do that by hand anymore. The other thing I wanted to show you was underneath the course tools. You have an email. And a lot of teachers want to know, why aren't your students seeing the course maybe? And you can find out if they're actually in the course, enrolled in the course. Once you see all these names here, this means that State Fair has dumped them into the course. So if a name is not here, that means that probably you need to get a hold of me and I will manually put them in. Once their name is here, this guarantees that whenever they log into My Labs, they're going to see the course. So if they're saying that they don't see it, they're just not looking in the right place. They will see it. And once they log in and they enter that access code, then you'll have them in your grade book. And just kind of a helpful hint for figuring out what your students might and might not be seeing. Other than that, if you go down to Assignment Manager, and again, we wait because of my internet. Here is all of your assignments. And for elementary, everything's already built up. Everything is here. All you need to do is go through and set your due dates and make sure that they're assigned. Now you can do a mass change on these by clicking assigned. There's many different ways to assign them. I like to sort them this way. And then you can come up here and say change dates and assign status. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and fix them so they're not assigned. That way your students don't see a bunch of they just won't see a whole bunch of late assignments. So if you click on, now this up at the top is for multiple assignments. So you can change all of the assignments all at once. If you want to change them all to unassigned, just click on assigned and hit apply to selected. Oh, I guess we need to go over here and check them all. We'll check them all and then click apply. And now it's moved them all to unassigned. That way your students won't actually see them in their homework. Now, what I usually do, go back over here to the homework test manager. Well, that didn't work. Let's try it again. It should have popped up with a window saying that it had changed the settings. It didn't because my internet is slow. I canceled it too quick. So we'll try that again. Select them all, say unassigned, and apply to selected. And then we need to go up here and say update changes. And then it should tell us that it's been accepted. My internet's just running really slow. Anyway, let's go back to Homework Test Manager. I think between the fact that my computer's dying and my internet's slow. So see, now none of them are assigned now. So I changed them all at once. You don't have to go in and click on unassign on each and every single one. So now your students won't see anything. So you're ready to start opening up whatever it is that you want for them. So for example, how to enter answers. What I usually do is I assign one at a time. And I like to go over here to the drop-down menu and say edit, and then hit go. And we'll wait. Alright, now once it brings this menu up, you have a whole bunch of options. So if you see here, you can change this into, you can put it into whatever unit you want to. You can call it whatever you want to. And then what you're going to see here is, a list of what's there. This is just an orientation for how to enter answers. That's all it is. And then we'll click next. And here's where you set when you want it to become available. So let's say we want it to be available today at, let's see, what time is it? It's 3:20, so we'll make it available at 4. And we want it to shut down maybe a week from today. And I usually leave the deadline at 11:59. You can change it to whatever you want to. Other things, you can allow the students to work and change the score after the due date or not. It's up to you. If you don't want them to be able to, get in there and change it after due date and check the box. And that's about the only thing that I think that you'll use for an on-ground class. I usually don't use the passwords. I usually don't limit the number of times they can work each question. I usually leave it unlimited, things like that. Now down here you have an option to either save or save and assign. Save is what you do if you want to just save what you've done here, but you don't want the students to see it yet. Save and assign, we'll go ahead and assign it. So as soon as 4 o'clock rolls around today, the students are going to be able to see that assignment. It doesn't matter what the start date is. If this isn't clicked assign, the students are never going to see it. And then you can go through and you can select each and every one of them. So, and it's just like that. So 1-1, you can hit go. And my internet's slow. I'm running off of Dish Internet and it's very slow. We'll hit next. Now, here's an actual homework assignment, and I wanted to show you what these look like. Because you can actually mouse over each one of these, and each one of these corresponds to a question in the book. So if you were to look up section 1.1 in the book, question 61 out of the homework set, you would see this exact question. I'm having computer issues. So it looks like find the following quotient and write it in lowest terms. 6 2/3 divided by 2/9. That's the question that the students are going to see, and it will randomly generate different numbers. But you can mouse over each one and you can decide, well, I don't want that question, or maybe I don't want that many of that type. And you can, if you don't want this question, then check it and hit remove. If you wanted to add other questions, these are the other questions that are available. I personally like to have the book in front of me so I can see what it is that's in here. That's the easiest thing to do. So, and then if you want to see, well, this is actually the orientation. If we want to see what's in 1-1, you have to change your chapter up here. And then tell it section 1.1. And that's going to show you a list of all questions that are available from 1.1. So quite a few of them, and usually example questions are in here too. And so you can assign any of those that you want to. We'll hit next. We'll just leave that assignment alone. And then again, you can change your available date, change your due date. You can either allow them to work and change after the due date or not. That's about it. I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to let you do that one on your own. And just make sure if you want to go ahead and assign it, that you tell it to assign it. Hit save and assign. That's about it. Really, that'll get you started on this. And if you want to see what your students are seeing, these buttons up here, the student view basically. So if you hit homework, you're going to see what homework the students have.